It happened on a Tuesday, about 3 weeks after the funeral. A friend said something funny, something completely ordinary, and for 1 second, just 1 second, she laughed, and then she felt it. That thing that creeps in right after the laugh. That cold, quiet voice that says, "How dare you? How dare you laugh? How dare you feel anything other than pain? How dare you forget, even for a second, that he is gone?" If you felt that voice, this video is for you, because that voice is lying to you. And today, we are going to prove it. The research on widow guilt is overwhelming, not because it's rare, because it's universal. Almost every widow, at some point in her grief, feels guilty for feeling happy, not guilty for something she did, guilty for something she felt, guilty for a moment of joy that arrived uninvited and stayed just long enough to make her feel like a traitor. It might have been a laugh. It might have been a good meal that tasted like something. It might have been a morning where she woke up and for 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, forgot, and then remembered and felt the guilt rush in like water. This is one of the least talked about parts of widowhood, not because it doesn't happen, because widows are ashamed of it, and shame keeps things silent. So today we break the silence. To understand why this happens, we need to understand what grief actually is. Most people think grief is about sadness. It's not. Grief is about love. Grief is what happens when love has nowhere to go, when the person you loved is no longer there to receive it. So the love stays in you, circling, looking for a home. And somewhere along the way, the brain makes a connection. It decides, as long as I am in pain, I am still loving. Pain equals love. Grief equals loyalty. So when the pain lifts, even for a moment, the brain panics. It thinks, if I'm not suffering, do I still love? If I laughed, have I forgotten? If I felt joy, does that mean he mattered less? The answer is no. The answer is absolutely completely no. But knowing the answer with your head and believing it in your body are two very different things. And that gap is where the guilt lives. The guilt tells you a very specific lie, and it tells it in a very convincing way. The lie is this: a good widow stays sad. You know this lie. You didn't learn it anywhere specific. It seeped in from everywhere. From movies where widows wear black for years. From relatives who check in on your grief and look slightly uncomfortable when they find you doing okay. From the part of yourself that whispers, people will think you didn't love him enough if you seem too fine, too soon. We have a cultural script for how grief should look, and that script says visible, prolonged, painful. But here is what the research actually says. Grief does not follow a script, and the absence of visible pain is not the absence of love. Some of the most deeply grieving women laugh. Some of the women who seem to have moved on fastest are carrying more pain than anyone around them knows. How you look from the outside has nothing to do with how deeply you loved. Nothing. Here is what a moment of joy actually means when you are grieving. It means your nervous system is working. It means some part of you is still alive. It means that the part of you he loved, the part that laughs, that notices beauty, that can be surprised by something good, is still there. He loved that part of you. He would recognize it. He would want it to stay. Think about the person he was. Think about the man who chose you. Think about what he would say if he could see you sitting in your guilt, refusing yourself even one moment of lightness because you think it would dishonor him. What would he say? For most widows, the honest answer is, he would tell you to stop. He would tell you that your joy is not a betrayal. He would tell you that love and happiness were never opposites. Your grief is the proof that you loved. Your joy is not the erasure of that proof. Joy and grief can exist at the same time. They are not enemies. They were never enemies. There is a specific moment that many widows describe as one of the most disorienting of their grief. The first laugh, not a polite smile, a real laugh. The kind that surprises you, the kind that comes from somewhere genuine before you have time to stop it. And then the silence after, and the guilt, and sometimes the crying, because the laugh felt like a door opening that you weren't sure you were allowed to walk through. That door is not a betrayal. That door is healing. Walking through it doesn't mean leaving him behind. It means carrying him forward into a life that still has room for light. One widow described it this way. The first time I laughed after he died, I cried for an hour afterward. Now 2 years later, I understand that the laugh was him. It was him still making me happy, even after he was gone. That's not moving on. That's love continuing, in the only form it can take now. So how do you actually let go of the guilt? Not intellectually, not by reading about it. In your body, in your daily life, in the moments when it arrives. The first thing, name it when it comes. When you feel the guilt creep in after a moment of joy, say it out loud or write it down. I'm feeling guilty for feeling happy, not to punish yourself, to see it clearly. Because guilt that isn't named runs the show. Guilt that is named can be examined, and examined guilt almost always falls apart under the weight of the truth. The second thing, ask the real question. Not, should I feel guilty? But what am I actually afraid of? Almost always the answer is the same. I am afraid that if I stop hurting, I will stop loving. I am afraid that joy means forgetting. I'm afraid that happiness means he didn't matter. And once you see that fear clearly, you can answer it honestly. Does your happiness erase his life? No. Does your laughter mean he mattered less? No. Does moving forward mean leaving him behind? No. He is not in your pain. He is in your love. And your love does not require suffering to survive. The third thing, let joy be small. You don't have to be happy. You don't have to perform recovery. You don't have to convince anyone that you are doing well. You just have to let the small moments exist without punishing yourself for them. The good cup of coffee, the song that made you smile, the grandchild who said something ridiculous, the friend who made you laugh so hard you couldn't breathe for a second. Let those moments be. Don't apologize for them. Don't explain them. Don't follow them with guilt. Just let them be. They are not betrayals. They are evidence that you are still here. There is one more thing I want to say before this video ends. You have spent a lot of time thinking about what you owe him in grief. The loyalty, the sadness, the mourning. But I want you to think about something different today. Sure, what did he love about you? Not what he needed from you, not what you did for him. What did he love about the woman you are? Your laugh, your warmth, your stubbornness, the way you see things, the way you love people, the way you show up. That woman is still here. She didn't die with him. She is still here, still herself, still capable of joy and beauty and laughter and all the things he loved about her. Honoring him does not mean extinguishing her. Honoring him means keeping her alive, because she is, in every way that matters, we're part of what he left behind. Let her laugh. Let her live. Let her be happy, without apology. That is not moving on. That is love, in its most faithful form. Guilt will come back. It doesn't disappear after one video. It doesn't disappear after 1 year, child. But every time it comes, you can say, I know what you are. I know what you're trying to do, and I choose not to believe you today. That choice, made again and again, is how healing happens. Not in one moment, not in one decision, one small choice at a time. Let her laugh. She's still here, and so are you. If this video said something you needed to hear, in every video on this channel we go deeper. Identity, grief, the practical things. All the parts of this life that nobody hands you a guide for. Subscribe. Come back. She's still here. And so are you.